Now, I got a two-parter question here.
Okay,
this is actually a two-part question.
Yeah. Two-parters, please.
Do you know where that's from?
No.
Oh, you never seen Harold and Kumar go to White Castle?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, this is actually a two-part question.
Yeah. Not that off.
One, what's it like to be an insurance agent? And two, can you put in a good word for me?
So, Mobile Cigar Lounge, right?
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite stories about an interaction with somebody that you've had? And what's one where it's like,
yes,
this is bizarre. Like,
worst.
I can't believe this is happening.
Best
to me.
and worst.
Like some guy, like a drunk guy, came up and was like, "What's up, man?" and like hit the table and knocked everything on the floor.
Blew the airstream.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have some funny stories, right? I'll tell a funny story. This actually happened to Ryan. Ryan freaking went to Perona Farms, one of our favorite venues over in Sussex County, New Jersey. And he was so proud. Like, he set up a table. He took a picture. And, like, all our guys take pictures. He goes, dude, can't believe it. I mean, hey, here at the so-and-so wedding, super excited. And then he told the maitre d', like, hey, listen, I'm here for, like, say, the Martinez wedding. Oh, over there. The frickin' maitre d' sent him to the wrong wedding. Yeah, so he had to go across the street. He had to pack up everything, go across the street, and, like, set up, right? So it happens, right? But they didn't notice it. But, you know, it's one of those stories of what happens when you do a thing. One of my guys went to a wedding, and there's a lot of these wedding venues have, like, two different, like, spaces. Right?
Yeah.
He went to a wedding in Central Jersey. The bride and the groom had the same first names on the same day.
The bride and the groom had the same first name.
All right, come on.
Yeah.
As the catering hall, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Like,
so
fuck.
no, I mean, like there's two weddings happening, and on the custom bands it said, like, say Sam and Maria. They both have the same name. So when he went there, he goes, hey, I'm here for the Sam and Maria wedding. They sent him over there. And then the father-in-law didn't help at all. He goes, oh, great cigars. So
he saw an opportunity and struck.
Yeah, and he was actually at the wrong wedding. And then he got to the right wedding. It all worked out well. And when the bride actually laughed about it, she was like, oh, my goodness. I was like, how can you have a wedding at the same venue, same place, same first names? And then he goes, and it didn't help that the father-in-law was like, oh, man, I love cigars.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, yeah, brother, bring him over here. Bring him over here. And he was just like,
you'd think that the father-in-law would know if he paid for it or not.
Yeah, but he was, you know, he said that he thought one of the, like, his brothers or the groom's uncles bought it for them as a surprise.
Yeah, okay, that
so
makes
it
sense.
sucks for us because we're like, ah, but it happens, right? And that's what happens when
That's
you grow
such an
business.
odd case. Like the odds of
super
that
odd.
happening are just
Some of the best cigars I've ever had. Oh man, I'll name one. I got to smoke with guys that went to Afghanistan right after 2001.
right after.
Yeah. So the first guys that touched ground in Afghanistan, these were the guys.
The first guys after we declared war.
After we declared war, they were already in Afghanistan.
Wow.
And dude, I love smoking with them. And you know, not
I
for
can't
nothing.
imagine the stories that.
You
I
know-
mean, coming from somebody that
Yeah.
has stories themselves to hear those stories, because like you said, you went in 2006 to 11.
Yeah, 5-11. Yep.
Okay, so to hear the stories of people that were the time before you, the 5 years before you,
Yeah.
when it first went down, that's got to be.
I mean, I smoke with, and for them, the guy smokes only cigars when I come down. Like, his therapy is he likes being with veterans, and like him and I talk, and you know, I love being in, well, one, I do love being in the Marine Corps, but two, like the street cred, like, you know, I'm hanging out with Navy SEALs, Green Berets, and they're like, oh, they see my EGA, they go, Marine? And I'm like, yeah, and he's like, what do you do in the Marines? I was in the infantry. He's like, oh, I love you dudes. And I'm like, I appreciate it, but I look up to them. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I've smoked with a guy like that. I've smoked with, man, that was a memorable moment, because we just sat there, and we just smoked, and we just enjoyed each other's company, and we just met that day. And that's one of the great things about a cigar, right?
That's
you
what
just
it's
met
about,
somebody, and the foundation is, and he goes, dude, I don't like, he tells me, he's like, dude, I don't like being in big crowds, right? And he goes, I want to smoke with you and just hang out. And we've been friends ever since.
That's the beautiful thing about cigars.
And, awesome. And these guys are freaking heroes, right? They don't see themselves as, they did
I noticed none of them will.
Yeah.
None of them will. They could be the most decorated Marine there is,
Yeah.
and none of them will say, yeah, I was a hero.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Everybody around me,
It's
God,
also
you're a
kind of
goddamn
weird,
hero.
though, to call yourself a hero, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I grant they're
I
humble
agree.
as fuck because that's not how they're doing it.
Because exactly. They didn't do it to get all the fame and glory. They did it because something in their heart and their integrity said, I need to do this.
And they're 100% a hero. 100%.
Oh,
Easily.
oh,
ask
oh,
anybody,
easy.
like, you're a goddamn hero.
Yeah.
They're like, no, I'm not. I'm
Bro,
just
we're-
another guy.
Yeah, we're just hanging out in Tampa over the Grand Cathedral over there, the Fuentes Lounge. Mm-hmm. And, we're just having a good time. We're drinking, we're smoking, the crowd, a bunch of people out on the patio. But me and my buddy whisper to each other, I'm like, dude, no one knows what these two guys did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
100%. And then they're probably like, oh, these are crazy, like, white boys just freaking, they're just being good dudes.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
You never know what people are going through or have gone through. That's why you can't, always judge a book by its cover.
Yep.
100%. Yeah. 100%. Because, sometimes, more or less, the more I go through life and I see someone that's a little wacky or someone a little off, the old me would be like quick to be like, what a fucking weirdo, psycho. Yeah. Granted, there are people like that. Right?
Yeah.
It gives instant red flags. But I'm a little more like hesitant to be like, what a fucking weirdo. It's like, maybe this is a reason why this person's like this. Don't treat him any different. If you, I always say you treat the janitor and the CEO the same way.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's what what's his name says. Tom Hardy says that.
All
the time, dude. Treat the janitor and the CEO.
Maybe that's where I got it from. I heard that somewhere.
It brings up. There's a guy. Shout out to Matadors, our local lounge. Buy some freaking blueprints, please.
Come on. You're the biggest people now.
There's a guy there that ex-Marine, and always reps. He's always got his hat on, everything, and he just goes around and he just kind of like interjects himself into conversations. And some people are like, "Oh, this guy's fucking annoying. Like, can you just stop?" But he's nobody know. We know, right? And if you recognize the hat, you'll know. But nobody. Some people call him annoying, but I'm like, dude, you have no idea what this guy.
It's probably his therapy to just.
He's an older guy. He's probably 60s, I'm guessing, in his 60s. And I'm like, listen, he just wants to have a conversation. Like, he's a very nice guy. Yeah. And he kind of bluntly interjects. Like, you'll be having a conversation. He'll just come in and be like, oh, yeah, and tell you a story. But I'm like, he just wants to have a conversation. Yeah. Okay? You don't understand what this guy has seen in his days. All right? He's seen things that you'll probably only see in your nightmares. Yeah. All right? The amount of people that he's probably seen die in his arms is ridiculous, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, he's annoying." No, like, give that guy some fucking respect. Yeah. Okay,
easily.
Yeah, can you imagine 6 years changed my life? Ryan 4 years changed his life. Like, it's one of those things where, I meet with those guys and those gals, and you get a bigger kind of like picture of what's going on, right? Like the guy I'm talking about, like he's been taught for 30 years, and I'll keep it blunt, on how to kill people. And now he's supposed to get inserted back into society.
Yeah, and that's all he knows.
Yeah. And he's like, dude, the reason why I don't go to bars, someone bumps into me and starts giving me lip.
Fucking kill him.
And you're like, and he's a nice dude. He'll be like, hey, my bad, bro. And the guy starts giving him lip. He doesn't want to fight him. He wants to kill him, and he wants to use everything necessary to do that.
And it's not like it's just I imagine that it's just like a reflex.
Yeah, it's a reflex.
It's not like years. I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
and that's the thing about, you get these guys in bars, and it's funny because we all used to go to college bars. You go to these college bars, you get drunk, and just stupid shit would happen. And I don't like going to these bars anymore. It's like, listen, with my wife, I don't want to go. I don't want to go because I know what these young, drunk college kids, they're all like, I need to prove myself. I need to be the tough guy. And granted, I'm a bigger dude.
German missile.
Okay,
baby.
I'm a bigger guy. And I'm like a fucking target, right? And I'm like, listen, and I'm not saying that I was trained to kill people, okay? I'm not a fighter. I've not gotten in a lot of fights in my life, okay? But I don't want to put myself in situations like that where somebody's going to, because then you're like, and I can't imagine guys like that where it's just a reflex.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's not like he's purposely doing it. It's just you're bumping. It's going to switch. It's just going to go into Marine mode where I'm going to fucking kill you.
And I've seen it happen with a buddy of mine who I grew up with from elementary school to high school, and he was always a jokester, always like the prankster, always a funny guy. Then he didn't go to the Marines. I believe he was in the Army, and he came back, and he was just like completely different.
Yeah.
Like, didn't want to joke
Changed
around.
your life, man.
Didn't want to joke around. He was in a bar, and he was like, I don't really want to be here. And it was just like a complete 180. So, I mean, it's sad how it affects people, because you kind of when you enter the military, do you expect, you obviously know it could possibly change you, but like, do you go in the military knowing like, I could be a completely different person when I come out?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to know, like, it's one of those things, like, you become a doctor, you're going to know that you're going to save people's lives, and you know you're not going to save people's lives. That's the dark story.
Yep.
Right?
And that's the stuff that they don't tell you.
That's the thing they don't tell you. You join the Marines, a lot of people know if you're a Marine or not. Those are the guys that fight, guys and gals that fight. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see
not
action,
fight, kill.
Yeah, kill. Right?
Yeah.
And if you want to join the Marine Corps, and especially join the infantry, like you're looking for something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But dude, all great guys and gals, great organizations like Patriot Fund, Hope for the Warriors. When you look at the United States and you go to different countries, they don't give a shit about veterans. You go to our allies like UK and stuff. There's not a lot of nonprofits that do what they do.
Yeah.
Like awesome stuff. So in today's world nowadays, to be a veteran in this country, there's a lot of great things that you can walk.
Yeah.
You get it.
And I'm going to add to that too, because it kind of shocks me that other countries don't give the amount of respect, because I think that in America we don't give as much respect to.
I think the younger
veterans,
generation.
Okay,
Yes,
we don't give nearly as much, because all of these organizations, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not in the government. I'm not in politics. But I would argue that a lot of them are not started by the government.
Correct.
They're started by individuals like yourself, like us, that create these things to help. Right? We send cigars over. You create stuff to donate and help veterans and help people. It's not created by the government. So I feel like for us in America, is they don't give as much respect as is deserved of the veterans. So when I hear that other countries are doing even less, then it blows my mind. I go, how can you not?
Yeah.
How can you not respect those people?
And let me ask you this: when I see someone wearing a Vietnam vet, a shirt says they're in the military, or a hat, I always try to say thank you for your service. And it's like half and half. Some guys are like super appreciative of it, and some guys are kind of like, yeah, thanks a lot. Is that something that a civilian person should do? Should they thank them for their service? Do you like that?
The answer is yes.
I was going to say, because I do every. If you're wearing a hat, if you're in uniform, if you're wearing anything, I make it a point. Yeah. I remember one time in Penn Station going down, and Penn Station's got a lot of military dressed.
Yeah.
I remember walking down, and I made it a point to shake everybody's hand, and we're walking down, and there's literally two guys right here. Shake both their hand. 20 feet, two guys, shake their hand. 20 feet, two guys, shake their hand. 20 feet, two guys, shake. I shook like 10 people's hands. It took us like 15 minutes to get out of the freaking Penn Station. Yeah. But
it's small. It's a small, but it's a sincere gesture. But for us, being in the Marines, if I see a motherfucker wearing like the Eagle Globe and Anchor, the first thing I ask is, "Hey, brother, did you buy that or did you earn it?" And the funny part is, I'm a jokester, right? Yeah. So like they'll be like, "Oh, I got a golf outing or something." Or if they say like, "Hey, my son, my father," I'm like, "Hey, thank you for your service," because people don't. You think about the veteran, but you also got to think about the family component as well. So, if it's something like intermediate, like they're like, "Oh, it's my cousin," I'm like, "Oh, thank you for what you do." But if it's a Marine, they get like super defensive, like, "Yeah, I earned it." I'm like, Semper Fi, bro, and I give him like a handshake, and I'm just like, "What's up, bro? Where'd you serve?" And it's like cool because it's funny how I do it because they get kind of confrontational, like, "Yeah, I fucking earned it." I'm like, Semper Fi, bro.
So let me
go from 0 to 100.
Yeah, I love it.
So let me ask you this then. Okay, if let's say Eric and I were to buy one of those and wear that in support of Marines, is that disrespectful? Seeing as how we didn't earn it, but we have, like, we know you guys. I know I have had my stepbrother. I've had multiple friends from high school that are Marines. Like, is that disrespectful to wear it even though you didn't earn it?
No, it's not disrespectful. I do that as a joking around thing. But yeah, the first thing I ask if you're wearing an EGA, and
is that what an EGA is?
Yeah, it's called the Eagle Globe and Anchor. Is
that just Marines?
Yeah, just Marines.
Okay.
Yeah, so for us, it's our big thing.
Is there one that, the flag kind of encompasses it all, which is why we wear the flag, but is there another symbol that encompasses all of the armed forces? Or do they each, I imagine they each have their own.
Yeah, each have their own, right? But even for me, when I see an American flag, dude, I love July 4th because we live on the lake on Hopac. I'm bringing this to a whole nother subject.
Wait, what lake do you live on?
Hopac.
Okay, not I thought you said
Wallenpaupack.
Yeah, Wallenpaupac's in PA.
Poconos.
Oh, the Poconos,
yeah. Hopac, okay.
What I love about July 4th is they have the boats and they usually do a parade. And you got, dude, American flags. And I have my son out there waving a little American flag, dude. Dude makes me proud, right? So you can wear an American flag. Totally love it. And this is dude, I'm a first generation American born here, coming from my mom who from the Philippines to here. So, dude, if you wear an EGA and you say, hey, it's for my buddy, dude, I respect that. Because I'm not going to ask for the more. What if it's your buddy that passed away in the Marines? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if you go over to the EGA, be expected to get asked questions.
Yeah, I would expect you to have a story behind it.
Yeah, have a story behind it.
I mean, I can, to answer my own questions, I can imagine, even if you wore it and somebody came up and you're just like, oh, I wear it because I support the Marines. You're not going to be like, oh, fuck you didn't deserve it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that.
You're going to say, all right, well, thank you very much, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So it's not a bad thing. It's like, for me, like I said, I do the joking thing. And plus, if they tell me, like exactly, I wear for my friend, I'm like, hey, man, thanks for your support. I always tell people, this is just, I've lost more friends outside of combat than, anything else in the military. So I don't want to ask too many questions, but at the same time, just like, I wear for my buddy. I'm like, sounds good.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. Yeah. But yeah, have a story behind it. If you like the symbol and stuff, it's like, dude, you want to join the Marines?
It's funny you said, because I used to work for a company that was mainly veterans, and I wasn't. But my dad, when I started
your dad, I got it from your dad. Your dad wears it.
My dad is all about. My dad didn't serve in the military, but he was all about having a flag on every jacket. So when I started working, he's like, I'm buying you. You got every jacket you have. Let me know how many you have because I'm buying you an American flag. He's like, it's a great piece to obviously represent that you care about America, but it shows people that you care, and it's a good talking piece.
Yeah.
And I remember I worked with this one company that was a lot of veterans, and we're at like a sales conference type of thing, and one guy from a different state was like, he saw my flag, and he was like, oh, did you serve in the military? And I felt like so like small. I'm like, no, I didn't serve in the military. It's like America. And I was like, no, I don't, but no, I love America. And he was like, oh, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I felt like I was like, oh shit. Like, am I going to get pressed right now?
Yeah, it's funny because you say yes, you instantly get asked. You serve in the military out of the blue. You serve. I support everybody that does.
And that's it. Yeah. And the people, and the fucking stupid people that are in this country are like, oh, you an American flag? What are you, a politician? Blah, blah, blah. Like they make it. No. I'm like, no, I just love my country. So should you.
Your dad has a funny story. Your dad told me. So his dad hired me in the company that I work for now, which is how we met, and the rest is history. Now we're Burn Down Podcast. But he tells me a story about how he was sitting there, and he had his American flag. And one of these fucking yahoos goes, that's made in China, right? And his dad also Eric Sr. goes, really? Like, he goes, yeah, it's made in China. Eric's like, so what? Like, everything's made in fucking China. Like, you think I'm going to be able to get this little pin? Like,
yeah.
He goes, like, it caught him off guard. He goes, really? Like,
it's a comment.
You're not going to ask me, like, why I wear it or did I serve or anything like that. It's made in China, right? Like, fuck you, man. Wherever you go, leave. Leave America, okay? We don't want those type of people in America.
Going back to, I don't want to see another 9/11. I want to see the day after. I would live for that day after. American flags everywhere. Dude, I love it when I go to these small towns and they got American flags in front.
Yeah.
That pumps me up, man.
I have an American flag in my front yard.
Yeah. First generation born here. And the opportunities the country has gave me for my mom and for me and my family, love it.
When did your mom come over to America?
In the 80s. And she came over as a nurse, and
Was it you and your mom?
No, I was born in Jersey.
Well, I'm saying, because you keep mentioning your mom, you haven't said anything about your dad, so I'm not sure if it was a single mom or if you were.
I mean, my dad was around, but it was single mom, right? They divorced before I was born. We.
Are you still in touch with your dad?
He passed away 2 years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no worry. But
2 weeks ago.
No, 2 years ago.
Were you in touch with him the whole time?
No, he was proud of me, but we didn't stay in touch, right? Okay. But then in closure,
was he in America as well, or was he in
Philippines? He was Filipino. Yeah. Okay. And but he lived in Hackensack. He lived in Hackensack, so not too far from
Hackensack,
Jersey. But but when he passed away, we made some awesome peace, give some closure. So it was good. Well, I wish I could have smoked a cigar with him.
That answers our question that we're going to ask at the end.
Yeah, they didn't get a chance to, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I just I pick up on the little things.
Yeah,
because usually it's like my parents or my dad, my mom. So
yeah, my mom hates me smoking both.
You just
I'm such a rebel, Mom.
It's funny because my mom, it says this, and I always send her the articles that we find where, I mean, there was an episode we did, I'm not going to get too deep into it, basically said that, like, if you smoke cigars, it has nil effect. If you, obviously, okay, if you smoke 10 cigars a day, it could probably have an effect. If you smoke one cigar a day, it has nil to you. They have what they call a, like, I think they call it a hazard ratio, whatever. Hazardous to your health. So they said, if you don't do anything, it's 1.0. Like, that's the baseline. And then if you did stuff, if you smoked cigarettes, if you smoked this, they had like 1.5, 2.6. They said if you only smoke cigars, it was like 1.01. It was like nil. Okay, I always send her these things, but it was a fun fact that I wanted to bring up. We were talking about American flags that my dad informed me of is, and maybe you can correct me or disprove me, is that if you have an American flag in front of your household, you need to have it lit at night. It has to have some form of light on it at night. It can't be just flown in the dark. And I don't know if that's 100% true, but when I first had the flag up, my dad came over. He goes, "You got lights on that, right?" I said, "Yep." As soon as the lights come on, and he goes, "All right, you have to have light on it. You can't fly it in the dark." I'm like,
fuck, I don't know.
And I don't know if it's 100% true.
Yeah, sounds like a Google answer.
But I always have lights on it. And when he said that, I started looking. I'm like, all right. And every flag I see at night is lit.
Huh.
It's lit. It has uplighting, and you can see it. You can visibly see it in pitch black. It's like,
Like, I guess maybe it's a symbolism of, like,
I don't
America,
know.
Fights through the night, or
just like the flag can never touch the ground. Yeah. If you fold it, it has to be folded a certain way. Yeah. You can't fly it upside down, right?
I'm not sure. Ryan, does the flag have to be shown and lit?
Does a flag have to have light on it at night?
It should.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. To be seen, like, you can't just be pitch black flowing a flag. But
that's true. Actually,
like,
I'm thinking about every
if you look at any state building, government building,
it's all
the flagpole's always
lit up. It's always lit up.
Maybe it goes back to the Star Spangled Banner. They talk about,
and when and it's funny. It kind of goes along the lines of there's a theory. I guess it's a theory, but where whatever you focus on in your mind, you'll bring about in your life, right? And the perfect example is, okay, let's say you're buying a car, right? And you want to buy a Jeep. Okay, it's happened to me when I was buying my Jeep. You want to buy a Jeep, and you're looking at Jeeps.
Yeah.
When you're driving around whatever car you're currently in, you'll start to notice every fucking Jeep on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Now, those Jeep, beforehand, before you thought about buying a Jeep, you never noticed them. You probably drive the same route every single day, and they're there.
Yeah.
But now that you're focusing on Jeeps, you'll see every fucking Jeep. So when my dad told me that, I never noticed it, but now
I will notice.
Now I notice every single time. Now I notice it every single time.
Knock on the door. Excuse me. You don't have any fucking lights on your flag, bro.
Notice it
like $5 on
Amazon. It every time now.
Wow.
So that's a fun fact for me.
All right, yeah. No, I mean, I like it.
We got lights on the flag right now. Bang,
shining.
So
bring them out.
If I have to take a guess, I would. The Star Spangled Banner, they talk about the flag flying through the night. Yeah. So maybe that's what it has to go through. Who knows?
Anyway, that's good. Popped into my head. I was like, oh, that's a fun little fact for you. So,
yeah, I like that.
Back to the Mobile Cigar Lounge.
Now back to the Mobile Cigar Lounge.
Okay, so
Joe the Smoking Panda.
All right, so you go from 2018, right? You just started. Now you're in 2022. You hit $1 million a year. What's the next big thing? Like, what's the next step? Are you trying to go international with it?
He already is.
Well, I mean, Virgin Islands technically.
I guess.
I know we tried to. We're like, it's a fucking U.S. territory.
That's the gray area right there.
Are you trying to go Caribbean with it? Or?
It's like, technically, it's U.S. owned, but not.
Yeah.
That's like Puerto Rico. Okay?
That's a thing.
So what's the next big thing? What do you got planned for 2023?
Yeah, 2023. Growing our team. We want to do 3 million next year. So just doing 3 times the amount of events, growing our team. We're just
a simple way to do it.
Simple way.
3 times the amount.
3 times more. But yeah, we're just building our team. We want to become the must-have experience for any celebration. So we've done everything under the sun pretty much in terms of like weddings, private parties, golf outings. So we want to be there. We want to increase the amount of marketing, our team members, and everything like that. So yeah.
Now, what type of cigars do you sell
Yeah.
Do you have your own cigars, or do you just sell?
Yeah, so we use a premium Nicaraguan blend. I know you guys are medium to full. I should have brought up, but they're more of a mild because the thing is
Nicaraguan mild.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So the thing is, a little peppery in the front, which I like, but then it kind of smooths out to the middle and the last third. You get more of those nutty and earthy tones. But when you go to an event and you smoke cigars, not a lot of people smoke, so they want something a little bit easier, and so just something with a good draw that's able to be lit properly. The composition is pretty nice with good tobacco, and that's what we use. I keep it simple, and I just have one blend, and I have a Maduro blend. That's just kind of like that's what you. I mean, we went over close to 100,000 cigars this year.
Now, are you looking to? That's a good point. You bring up the mild stick, which is why our next cigar is going to be a mild version of the Blueprint. Are you looking into other brands? Like, do you have any partnership things with other brands that?
Not right now. We're thinking of doing our own blend. We're in the process of just kind of like understanding that game, right? It's a whole different ball game. Even though I'm in the cigar industry, I'm more in the wedding and event industry, right? Sure. And doing cigars,
you roll the cigars, correct?
Yep. So we exhibit the art of cigar rolling. So we bring the tobacco there so people could see how cigars are made from start to finish, right? Yeah. And it's a very interesting thing. You never see in your lifetime.
Definitely, a lot of people that smoke cigars have never seen it done. Yeah,
and I think it's a pretty cool experience for people to do. And it's a talking points, right? And the great thing about our team members are they're very, very interactive, so they can ask questions while we're doing it.
Love it.
And it's great. So, yeah, where do we see ourselves next year? Must have experience, tripling what we're doing now, building a team, and just doing $3 million in revenue. And me and my partners and our team knows that. And, yeah, we're super excited for the journey.
Love it.
I love it.
That's great.
I mean, the reason I ask, obviously, is, Burn Down Podcast, Mobile Cigar Lounge, is there a business opportunity?
Event specialist.
I heard golf outing. I'm like,
hey, we can figure something out. You know what I love about those big goals, too, especially you guys are thinking about doubling. So learning through business coaching, like, why do we do like big goals, and why do we? They call them BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. The great thing about it is when you say triple or double, instead of saying like 1 million, why don't I say like 1.2? Because I'm not asking the questions on how to get to 3 million, right? If I look at 3 million, I'm like, what do I need in place to make that happen?
Right.
Triple in sales, triple in team members. I'm asking different questions that I would have never asked.
Yes.
If I just said, hey, 1.2. Me and my partners.
I feel like if you have that natural, like 1 point, it's 20% growth.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you just it's natural to get there. You don't really have to make too many changes to increase to 1.2. But as soon as you start asking those questions of how do I go from 1 to 3 or 1 to 5? Yeah. Now, okay, granted, you're going to set all these things in place. And you may not do 3 times this year. Correct. But you may do 2.6.
Exactly.
And if you would have said, hey, I'm going to go from 1 to
60% more than
if I would have went 1 to 1.2, yeah, I'll probably hit 1.2. Great, I hit my goal.
Yeah.
But I could have went 1 to 2.6 had I asked the right questions.
Yeah. Some days where we used to have this where me and my partners would say, hey, we would pay each other if we made at least $8,000 revenue in a month. And that was like, back in 2020. We're like,
yeah, okay, now it's like, now if you make that, you're taking a loss.
Yeah, a huge loss. Like Ryan's done.
Okay,
I'm just kidding.
See you later.
It's been a great ride. But, it would be funny because one of those things that the first time we did like 10 grand in a day, I took a picture of it and I said to my partners, I'm like, dude, remember when we had like, we 8 grand to us was like huge. Yeah. Like, we're like, oh, we made 8 grand in a month. But and that's why I love business coaching. They make me think outside more because they understand it. I'm just like, that's why I go high. And I don't make it too high. I'm not going to say I'm going to make $10 million. Okay, let's make $3 million. If I make 2.6,
yeah.
I made 2.6.
Smart goals, right?
Yeah, large but not impractical.
Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely.
Yes.
Yep.
And it kind of goes along the lines of if you... I know this is very...
I don't know how I remember that, but I still do.
It's great.
I still do.
It's very cliche, but they say if you shoot for the moon and miss, at least you'll be among the stars. Right? It's very cliche, but...
worth it.
How true is that?
Yeah.
Right? Easily. Because you like you said, if I'm only shooting for 1.2, I'll probably hit it, but I didn't realize the full potential. If I shoot for 5 and miss, I'm still at 4. Right? I'm still at 3.5. Even if I shoot for 5 and half that, I'm at 2.5. And I 2.5 times in 1 year.
2019, 2020, our goal was 150. But of course, the COVID and all that stuff. But it was funny.
Now you're doing 150 a month.
Yeah, so it would be
the
like
goal was 150 for the year.
For the year. So 2019, we did 65,000. So it was funny, both my partners, they're like, oh, we should try and do like 80, 90,000. I was like, we should go heavy, like 120, 130, And I think we did this is before coaching. And then we did 165 that year. And then the next year we did 645. And then this year we did, a mil.
That's incredible.
Yeah. But then when you put a plan together, right, you have your goal, but if there's no plan, right, what's that line? If you don't plan, you plan to fail.
Yep. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
I think it's goals without written goals is just a dream or something like that.
Denzel said it too. He said goals on the road to achieving your goals cannot be achieved without discipline and consistency.
Correct.
Right? And that goes along with you put a plan in place. And are you disciplined and consistent with that plan? Right? Absolutely. You take this goal, okay. And it's like taking these huge goals. They always talk about, take the huge goal that you want, 5 million, and you break it down. What do I got to do every month to do 5 million?
Yeah.
Okay. You got to do whatever the number is, 300,000, 400,000 a year. If you do 400,000 a month, that's 4.8. Yeah. So I got to do 400,000 a month. All right. I got to do 100,000 a week.
You got to break it down as
which means I got to do, if I do 3 events a week, I don't know, how many events are you doing a week?
The most we've done is like 40 to 50 a week.
40, 50 a week?
Yeah.
Events. You do 40, 50 events a week?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, Ryan can attest that we were just talking about.
So here you go. So this is.
I want to hear about how you do 40 and 50.
So this is perfect. We're going to hear. So this is perfect. Okay. So we got to make $100,000 a week. So if we're doing 40 events a week, that's 25 grand. Is that 25 grand? No, 2,500. $2,500 an event.
Yeah.
So if we charge $2,500 an event, which you probably charge more, you do $2,500 an event, 40 events a week, and we stick with that, we're going to hit 5 million.
40 a week.
So when you break it down like that, you go, well, shit, we're doing 40 events a week. Yeah. And I don't know how much you charge for an event.
Yeah.
Is it
10
grand? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, so it's funny, right? The people think we've done, breaking down, we did close to 1,100 events this year. So September, October, we were doing like 50. Ryan had a post, I think, in like when it was October 50. But
so that's like 20. That's like 25.
Yeah.
Was our highest, and we doubled it in 3 months.
Yeah. So if you do 1,100 out of 52 weeks.
Yeah.
That's
how you do it.
If you do 30 a week, that's 1,500.
So how are you in that many? How many employees do you have?
So we have 8 core members, which is made of the executive team. Like we have a sales team, we have a social media, we have our training and scheduling, and then we have about like around 60 field team members that actually go to these events.
Okay.
So we've done like 20 to 30 events in one day, bro.
See, and
it's a lot of moving parts.
And now here comes the numbers, right? Okay. If you're doing, so how much you do an event? Is it how much you charge for an event? Depending on the event, obviously.
Yeah, to an event. So let's say the average is 1,000.
Okay, so average is 1,000, right? So now you say, okay, I'm already doing 30 events a week at 1,000. Okay, that's 30,000 a week. Yep. I need to do 60,000 a week. I need to double that.
Yep.
Okay, if I go from $1,000, and let's say now because you're more popular and the inflation, everything, I go from 1,000 and now I charge 1,200 an event. But now I'm doing not 30, but I'm doing 40 events. So not only did you go up 20% in the per event, now you're adding 10 more events in. So now instead of doing 30,000, you're doing 48,000 a week. And just like that, bang, you made $18,000 extra a week.
This is where the engineering and the numbers come in.
But that's as a lot of people say, oh, I can't do it. You got to break it down.
Yeah.
Right? It's small little tweaks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's how, I'm in sales. We're both in sales, but I was always in sales courses, sales classes, and it told me, all right, you want to make $150,000, $100,000 a year. All right, break it down each month. All right, I got to make whatever.
10 grand a month.
10 grand a month. All right, how many how many calls, how many meetings you have to set up.
Yeah.
Wow, we just had this talk.
Yeah.
How many calls?
And you
how
go
many contacts?
and you go off
It
of
breaks it down.
and you go off of what's called.
They call it I think they call like the class that I use. They call it a cookbook, and it was like, all right,
Yes.
I have to make X amount of calls a week.
Yes.
X amount of calls a day, X amount of meetings a week, X amount of meetings a day, and this will result in X amount of money for me.
And
blah, 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 blah.
they call it the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle is the 80-20 rule. You ever heard of the 80-20 rule?
Yeah,
right?
of course.
So break it down. Okay. If
Is this a fucking sales seminar right now?
it's great.
All right, buy our ebook.
These are burndownpodcast.com. 1-800-BDP.
These are nuggets, okay? These are nuggets. So you get the 80-20 rule, right? So basically, 1 out of every 5 is what that means, right? Because you're going to make, out of the 100% of all the calls you make, 20% are going to hit 80%. I know. I'll open it. I'm going to open it.
Where are we at right now?
Hour 45. But let me get through this and I'll open it. So the 80-20 rule, right? Which basically means 1 out of every 5. Okay. Same thing in sales. Like 80% of your revenue comes from the top 20% of your customers,
Absolutely,
right?
man.
Spend 80% of your time with the top 20% of your customers, right? So if you have these, like to Eric's point, you make X amount of calls. All right. If I need to close, let's say I need to close, like you said, you want to make $2,500 a week. Let's say every close is $250. So I need to make 10 closes a week.
Yeah.
So now I know 1 out of every 5 opportunities that I have, I'm going to close. So I need 50 opportunities. But if I know 1 out of every 5 calls I make turns into an opportunity, that means I need to make 250 calls in a week. And you break it down. So it's like, all right, I made 250 calls.
And cold calling works.
Which means I'm going to get 50 opportunities, which means I'm going to get 10 sales, which means I'm going to make my numbers. And it's like, okay. And then when that starts happening, you start thinking, well, shit, if I made 250 calls, what if I made 300 calls? What if I made 350 calls? Right?
Joe's itching.
It's like, and then, and to your point is, okay, now let's say I'm maxed out, or I have my sales team is 10 people. Now I have everybody making 25 calls a day, so I'm making 250 calls a day so that I can close 10 of them a day. All right, if I'm maxed out, and because there's a point where you literally can't make any more calls. Like you're on the phone for 15 hours a day. Like you have a personal life, okay? Yeah. All right, now I hire one more person. Now that person comes in, and now he's making an extra 25 calls, and now it's bang, there's my extra. Now I hire another guy. Now I hire another guy. Next thing you know, you have all of these guys making all these calls. And you're increasing I'm making another 10.
Love it, man.
Another 10 sales a day. Another 10 sales a day. Another 10 events a day. It just keeps growing and growing. And people don't think like that. People think too small.
Yeah. That's why, going back to Grant Cardone, I learned so much through that where, bro, it's so funny. You look at the calls and you look at the correlation of closes.
It's a direct
line.
correlation.
How much did you close this week? Okay. How many calls did you make this week? Oh, it's a direct correlation.
And I guarantee it's 80-20. It's 1 out of every 5.
Oh, 100%.
And
for the most
it's
part.
Funny. It's funny you were mentioning cold calling and Grant Cardone, because when I first started cold calling way back when in my sales career, I Googled cold calling, and Grant Cardone, there was an infamous cold call video with Grant Cardone.
Was that with his daughter?
No, it wasn't with his daughter. He was like in his office, and he's like, yeah, this guy won't buy. This guy's not doing this. And Grant Cardone's like, all right, let me talk to him.
Yeah.
Talks to him, and Grant Cardone talks to him and says his whole spiel. And by the end of it, he's like, all right, we close him. Next. And that's where I got it from. But cold calling, it's not a fun responsibility. Knocking on doors is not a fun responsibility, but it works.
It works. Yeah.
I started a new career. I'm now an insurance broker. I started about 6 months ago, and within the first 2 months I was actually doing it, I got my first client, and then I just got my second client yesterday. And you know what it was from? Both of them were on the same block, and I knocked on their door, and I got the accounts all from just going out there and grinding. And I have a third client that I'm about to get. And it was from
pass that to Ryan in the
cold call
behind the scenes. Yeah. Backstage,
Ryan
over here.
A lot of cheers to fucking success, cold calling and sales.
Cheers to Ryan over there.
There we go.
And it goes back to a lot of people. If you're in business, if you're in sales, they loathe cold calling. They loathe knocking on people's doors. And I've done it my whole career. And this is the first time where I'm seeing it act. And I've been in sales for about 7 or 8 years, and this is where I'm actually
been the SEALs for 7 years.
SEALs.
I heard SEALs.
I've been in the fucking SEALs.
That's news to
Not
me.
Navy SEAls, the sales SEAls.
News to me, man.
But it like you said, it's a direct correlation. I printed out a list of all these people I needed to call. It was over 100 people. I called every single one of them. The last person on the fucking list.
Love it.
I said, fuck it. The last person, let me just call it. Called up. First, yeah, let's set up a meeting. Let's go. And I'm
done.
And here I am.
Done.
I got a new client.
Yeah.
It's the direct correlation, like you said. It 100% works.
You know what's funny? Like I'm pretty bullish in terms of like bullish as in like my marketing and the follow ups. Like this client for Virgin Islands, our concierge team was handling it. She had to do something with her husband. She's like, "Hey, can you take this call? Because I'm in the hospital right now." So I call him, and dude, I'm crazy in terms of like I will follow up with you like crazy, dude. I sent him a picture, I sent him
no
video.
stone unturned.
Yeah,
man.
dude. Remember it snowed last week, dude. I did a video of me. I'm like, "Hey, bro," I'm like shoveling snow. I'm like, "Dude, you gotta get me out of here. I need to go to the Virgin Islands." And dude, he loved it. Because there's Grant Cardone. 2 reasons why people buy from you. They like you or he solves their problem. The guy loved us and we solved their problem. They wanted something for their event.
And here's the thing. Notice how it had nothing to do with the product.
No.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with the product.
No, not at all.
And this is why I tell people in sales, most of the products, whatever your niche is, or niche, however you say it, they all do the same shit for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay. They all do the same shit, but they don't buy the product. They buy you.
Correct.
People don't care about what you know or what you sell until they know you care about them.
Yes.
Correct.
Amen to
They
that.
like you or it solves a problem.
Exactly. I was talking to this guy and I told him, I said, it goes on the point of people don't buy the product, they buy you.
Oh, yes.
I said, if you have a product, let's say this company, the product does exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Exactly. To the T. But the person that's selling it never picks up his phone. You can never get in contact with him. He's a fucking asshole. Okay. And then you have the product over here that pretty much does what you want. Okay. You might have to add a little, but it pretty much does what you want. But the guy is great. The guy's a fucking ace. He's always on the phone. He calls you. He gives you Christmas gift. Hey, how's the family? He's always there. Look, who do you want to deal with?
100%.
Exactly.
I'm going to go with the one that, I'll make it work.
Do you have people calling?
Yeah, so we have 3 people, and then Ryan deals with our strategic relationships with the venues. We just send them out Christmas presents for the thing. But exactly, you're right. If I'm company A, I'm company B, and the average salesperson calls and touches someone twice. That's the average salesperson. We go further than that.
Yep.
If company A only calls you twice, and company B, exactly what you said, follows up, and I tell my sales team, I would love to get a call from somebody that says, "Hey, you're calling me too much."
Yeah.
You know what? You know what I say? I say, "Hey, listen, they're passionate about what they do because they believe in the product, they believe in our company. Now imagine what we could do at your wedding."
100%.
And so I was like, "Listen, I haven't got any of those calls yet." I'm like, keep calling these people, keep following up because you never know what's going to happen. Out of the 100 people, you got to the last name.
And that's a true story. No bullshit.
Do it. I do that thing where I sent the video. I'm corny like that, but dude, those people like you.
It works.
Yeah, I sent a video of me.
You know why?
You gotta
Because
be
they see
consistent,
because
man.
they
Yeah,
see
100%.
that you're just a regular guy like everybody else. You're not some
Absolutely.
sleazy sales guy who's all he cares. No, you're a guy regular. He looked at it, he goes, "Man, I like this guy." You know?
Yeah.
Who else is gonna send me a thing? I'm
at the
shoveling
end of-
snow, right?
Yeah.
At the end of my meeting on Monday, we closed. I got a new client, right? And they said, it's funny because I was with my mentor with me, and they're like, this guy Eric knocked on our door, I gave him his information, then he just kept calling. He kept calling, and he was following up, and I was like, you know what? Let me just give this guy a shot because, he keeps calling us. I'm glad we did business with you because now you're one, you're doing all the work for us, and 2, I like you, and you're solving a problem for us.
Yeah.
And I love sales, and you have to be consistent. You have to follow up. You have to be on the top of their brain because people get butthurt because they're like, "Oh, I called this guy, left him a voicemail. He didn't call me back." Because they got a million other fucking things to worry about.
Yeah.
They don't care about what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
They don't care about Eric the salesperson, Joey the fucking cigar guy, Justin the engineer. You have to be in front of their forefront of their brain because they're doing a million other fucking things.
That's why I'm very bullish in my marketing is because I want to be in the front of everyone's brain.
That's it.
Yep.
And when you have an experience, I want to make sure that, hey, listen, the hardest thing you could do to somebody is change their buying habits, right? If you guys, we're all married here. The first thing we didn't think about was cigars. The first thing was like venue, photographer, catering. I cannot change that. But however, that's why we build strategic relationships. Is I can plant that first seed. You know, like, hey, what's something different that you could have at your wedding? Oh, what's something different I can have at my wedding? Oh, here, these are cigar rolls. They might not look at us once, but we get their information. I have 90 emails that will be sent to you in different stages. You know, they're all spaced out about giving you value, giving you like tips and tricks. I'm not selling all the time, but if they had to make a decision,
You're planting the seeds.
Exactly.
You're planting the seeds.
I am going to make sure that when you make that decision, that you know that we followed up, that we were the ones that called you, that sent those corny. My favorite meme or the GIF that said, I like the eagle that's like punching in the air. Dude, I send that out all the time. Hey, thank you for supporting our veteran-owned business. Hey, they close with us. I send them a GIF like, can't wait to party. You know what I'm saying? I send funny things. Because
they want to know you're a regular person.
Oh, regular person.
100%.
And people are getting married. I'm in my 30s. These are people in their 30s. And the generation going from 20 to 30s, hey, they grew up with memes. They grew up with GIFs.
I get it.
Relatable. Yeah. And
So,
it's like it. I talk about this a lot. Is where there's a theory called recency bias, which happens a lot in sports betting. Right. I'm a sports bettor. People only remember, and it actually happens a lot in politics too. But people only remember what happened most recently. So the recency bias is people are biased by the recent events. That's where it comes from, right?
That. Yeah.
So
looking at Ryan as he's saying it.
So it happened.
Remember the good, they remember the bad.
Right, exactly. So it
100%.
happens. So I'll give you the example of what happens in sports betting. Right, you'll have a team like, let's say, Alabama football. Alabama football is always a very, very good team. Okay, they'll go 8 games where they just crush teams, absolutely crush teams. Then they'll play a team on the 9th game, and they'll just have a bad game. Yeah. Right? They just wet the bed. They're all off. They have a bad game, and they get beat by some bullshit unranked team. The very next week, everybody and their fucking mother always they go against Alabama. They said, did you see Alabama got fucking spanked by that Division III team? They're going to get smoked by a D1 team. And I go, it's because you're only remembering what happened last week. You're not remembering the first 8 games where they destroyed everybody. They had one bad game. And everybody bets on the other team, and they always fucking lose. Because like you got to take the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So they're biased by what happened most recently. So to your point is, you want to be in the forefront of everybody's brain. You're always on their mind.
Yeah.
So that if you go 3 months ago, like they just started planning, let's say it's a year ago, and you say, hey, we can do something for your wedding, right? They're not worried about that at the time. So now they go bang, 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 bang. If you forget, then on the 10th month, they're just going to start find somebody. But if you're always there, bang, 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 then at that 10th month, they're going to be like, hey, that guy just reached out to me last week. It happened most recently.
Yeah.
It happened most recently. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, that guy. Let me reach out to him. But if you don't do that, you're not the most recent person.
Yeah. And this is not just for sales in general, right?
Yeah.
They like you, it solves a problem. That's why I want to be right in the front of their brain.
Yeah.
Right when you make it come decision time, who you go follow up? The guy that called you twice, or the person that sends you like funny videos?
Yeah. Because you're almost like building a relationship. You're almost becoming their friend.
You are building a relationship.
Yeah.
Here's another Grant Cardone thing. There's the difference. What's the difference between contact and contract? What letter?
Contact?
R. That's relationship.
Bro.
Contact and contract, baby.
What's the difference of the letters R and R's relationship? If you don't build that relationship, you're not going to get that sale.
That fucks.
That fucks, for sure.
Thank you, Uncle GC, that we say. But, dude, this is why I invest into coaching. Because those isms that we do, and like me and Ryan were on the drive here, fucking for 2.5 hours. We left at like 1:45.
Fucking for 2.5 hours.
Yeah. We left at 1:45.
How do you do that?
Yeah, it's good times though.
Yeah.
We just did that coming back from Jersey. What are you talking about?
No. We're fucking for 2.5 hours.
No,
Oh my
but
God.
like we sat there and we're just talking, and then we're just like, hey, this is what he said. I'm like, okay, let's see how we can incorporate that into our business.
Yeah.
But yeah, contact, contract, build a relationship.
Love that. I've never heard that before, and that's fucking great.
I think that's a great way.
The difference between contact and contract is the R, which is relationships.
I'm gonna keep on that.
Yeah,
love that. That's definitely going to be that's going to be a short,
I think
a
that's
reel.
How you end it. I think that's how you end it. Contract and contact. It's the R, and that's a relationship, and that's how you fucking do business and make us say.
Absolutely, because I think there's a lost art of. There's a great book called Giftology. It's a lost art, especially our generation. How back then, when they didn't have internet and stuff, they would send gifts to stuff. Yeah. It's a lost art, but if you do stupid stuff like that, where you send like little gifts, or I tell people,
you send gifts, not gifts.
Gifts, like gifts, like actual gifts.
I know, but in your case, he sends gifts, not gifts.
Yeah. Well, he sends it after. Yeah. But when I go to a new meeting, when I'm meeting somebody, I always bring a fucking box of Munchkins, a bag of cookies, or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, you don't do that." I'd be like, my go-to is always. Well, my mother always told me never to show up someone's house empty-handed.
Absolutely.
And it's like, bing! Oh, you grew up in a good family. What's your nationality?
And then you're talking.
They go from 6 to midnight real quick.
And what happens? You're building a relationship.
That's it.
I love
Sales
it.
101.
That's it, bro. Love it.
Yeah.
We're going to end it right there, man.
I'm into it.
We're going to end it right there. That's a nugget.
Yeah.
All right, so here is the time. First off, thank you very much.
2 hours in.
2 hours. Almost to the... Yeah, exactly. As soon as you said that, it hit 2 hours.
Oh, really?
As soon as you said that, it hit 2 hours.
I got that fucking mind, bro.
So first off, thank you very much, Joe, Smoking Panda, for coming on the Burnout Podcast.
Thank you, Ryan, for sitting in the corner for 2 hours.
Thank you, Ryan, for sitting in there and taking some behind-the-scenes photos. We'll have to scoop some of those from you. But this is the time we give you the red carpet. Okay, plug away. Tell the people where they can follow you, where they can book you, what the next big thing is. If you got any special events that people can attend, the red carpet, the floor is yours.
No, I appreciate, gentlemen. Thank you so much. I mean, we've met each other because of cigars. We're very grateful that. That's why we're very passionate about what we do. Visit our website, www.themobilecigarlounge.com. Check out our Instagram, our Facebook. We have a dedicated concierge team to make sure from the first call to the last puff that we're there for you.
Hey!
I always love a good slogan, you know what I'm saying?
The first call to the last puff.
Love it.
And then what we like to say in the Mobile Cigar Lounge, sip, smoke, and celebrate. So we're 100% veteran-owned and operated. We have a team of veterans and first responders and those connected that come to your event because it is the best person to have who really understands the meaning of life and knows how to celebrate. So check out our team, check out our website, check out our social media, connect with our concierge team. They are there to help you, to help select the best curated cigar and whiskey experience for your event. So thank you always.
Thanks, Joe. We appreciate your time. Thank you, Ryan, for hanging out with us. And with that being said, Joe the Smoking Panda, Mobile Cigar Lounge. Cheers. Chin chin. Salud.
Chin chin. Salud.